How the rich use debt to get richer, while you fear it. Most people think debt is dangerous. They avoid it like a disease. But the rich, they seek it. They use debt as a powerful tool to build wealth, scale businesses, and create financial freedom. Why do rich people love debt, while most fear it? Because they understand something others don't. This is Ed Talk, and today, we're going to break down exactly how the rich use debt to get richer, and how you can too. 1. The truth: debt is just a tool. Let's start with something simple. Debt is neither good nor bad. It's just a tool, like fire, or a knife. It depends on how you use it. If you use it recklessly, it'll destroy you. But if you use it with purpose, it can transform your life. Poor and middle-class people use debt to consume. They borrow money to buy things that lose value: cars, gadgets, designer shoes, vacations. Meanwhile, the rich use debt to produce. They borrow money to acquire income-generating assets, real estate, businesses, or investments. That's the first big difference. The poor use debt to look rich. The rich use debt to become rich. 2. Good debt versus bad debt. Not all debt is created equal. There's bad debt, like using your credit card to buy a new iPhone you don't need. And there's good debt, like taking out a loan to buy a property that pays you rent every month. Bad debt takes money out of your pocket. Good debt puts money in. Think about it. If you borrow $10,000 for a vacation, that's gone. But if you borrow $100,000 for a rental property that earns you $800 every month, that's income. And over time, the value of the property may go up. That's appreciation. Plus you build equity as the tenant pays down your loan. That's wealth creation. 3. Real example: how the rich buy property. Let's look at a real example. Imagine a wealthy investor wants to buy a $500,000 apartment building. Instead of paying cash, he puts in $100,000 and borrows the remaining $400,000. He rents it out for $4,000 a month. His mortgage, taxes, and maintenance cost him $3,000. He pockets $1,000 in pure profit every month. That's $12,000 a year. And guess what? He still owns the property, which might grow in value. The debt made him money. It didn't trap him. It empowered him. Now compare that to someone who buys a car with a $40,000 loan. They drive it off the lot, and boom, it's worth less. They're now in debt for something that loses value every day. Same debt, totally different outcome. 4. The power of leverage. Debt gives the rich something powerful: leverage. Leverage means using a small amount of your own money to control something much bigger. If you have $100,000 in cash, you could buy one house. But if you put 20% down and borrow the rest, you can buy 5 houses. 5 income streams. 5 appreciating assets. That's how the rich grow faster. They multiply, not because they're reckless, because they understand how to manage risk. 5. Who really pays the debt? Not them. Here's what most people miss. The rich rarely pay the debt back themselves. They let other people do it. If they own rental properties, tenants pay the mortgage. If they build a business, customers generate revenue to cover the loan. If they invest in cash-flowing assets, the income pays down the debt. This is how the rich grow richer while protecting their own capital. They don't trade time for money. They use systems. They let money, and people, work for them. 6. The tax code favors borrowers. Here's the part they never teach you in school. The tax system rewards people who use debt to grow wealth. Mortgage interest on investment properties. Often tax deductible. Business loans. Interest can be deducted from your taxable income. Depreciation on assets. Another write-off, even if the asset increases in value. That's why the rich can look broke on paper and still live like kings. They borrow, invest, and deduct. The tax code was written by people who understand capital, for people who use capital. 7. Why the poor stay trapped. The poor are taught, avoid debt. Save money. Don't take risks. And what happens? They save in a bank that pays less than inflation. They never borrow, so they never scale. They never invest, so they never grow. They trade hours for dollars until retirement. It's safe, but it's slow, and often, it's never enough. Meanwhile, the rich borrow millions, and build income that lasts generations. Not because they're smarter, because they're trained differently. 8. Debt can be a shortcut, or a trap. Let's be clear. Debt can destroy you, if you use it for the wrong things. Don't borrow to impress people. Don't borrow for things that don't earn. Use debt only when it buys you cash flow. It gives you ownership. It makes you money long term. That's when debt becomes a shortcut to wealth, not a trap of poverty. 9. Start small. Learn fast. Grow smart. You don't have to take out a $1 million loan tomorrow. You can start small. Learn how to manage debt on a micro level. Study how businesses use debt. Watch how investors structure deals. Even buying one small rental unit or launching a low-cost online business with borrowed capital can teach you the game. Once you understand it, you'll never fear debt again. You'll control it, and use it to build your future. Closing. The rich don't fear debt. They master it. They use it to control assets, scale wealth, and reduce taxes. And you can too. It starts with shifting your mindset. Debt is not your enemy. Debt, used wisely, is your greatest ally in the game of wealth. This is Ed Talk. If you found value in this, subscribe now, and let's keep building your financial power, one smart move at a time.